Make him say, doodads. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another episode of the Doodads podcast.
Lucky 13.
Yeah, buddy. The big 1-3. Thank you, everybody, for continuing to be here and continuing to follow along and being a part of our journey. If you haven't already, please go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all of your 21st Century social media platforms. You can also find us on Apple Podcast. You can find us on Spotify with video either there or coming soon. My internal timeline is all out of whack, and that's okay because I'm just here to watch some review, some stuff, which we'll get to in a minute. But anyway, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for paying attention for a little while. Thank you for giving us a reason to still be here 13 episodes later. Man, check out Dad Gang Apparel. Go on, get you a hat, get you a beanie, get your wife or the mother of your offspring something to put on her head, because I believe there's also some mom stuff on there. Check them out, and when you do, go to the promo code section, and I'm not going to even pretend like I know it. This is where Carl's going to chime in and give you the code. Carl?
Doodads 14721 DODADS 14721. Copy a hat.
If we do this enough times, I may remember 14721.
That's it. It's just like a locker combination.
14721.
Get you 10% off. Get you 10% off.
Do
You
that.
said 21st century, and I'm just all, I'm a 21st century digital boy. I don't know how to read, but I got a lot of toys. Bad Religion, man. I'm sorry. I got nostalgic for a moment.
Yeah. So
What you got on the screen?
we thought about doing something a little bit differently for this episode. We are borderline amateur dad content creators, right? I think we could put ourselves in that category because
Amateur is still like semi-pro, and I don't even think that. I feel like we're like AAA, like we're Cape Cod League.
we're we went to the Baton Rouge Zydeco hockey.
Nice.
I still don't know if it's called a hockey match or a hockey game.
I think it's a match.
I think so too, because I kept saying match, and then I felt
Soccer
like I was
match,
talking
hockey
about tennis.
match, rugby match.
Yeah. Okay, so we went to the hockey match.
Baseball game, football game, basketball
game, sport. Yeah. Which was cool. It was interesting. Hockey's very exciting, even at that level. They're flying around so quick on that ice. Which I love my wife, and I'm gonna out her. She's gonna get mad at me. But did not know hockey was played on ice. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife did not know hockey was played on ice, and I love her, and I will always love her, and I love her for exactly who she is, but she didn't know hockey was played on ice.
Jamie.
And so we're going to move on. But we went and did that, and that was very amateur. And so I think we could very well be the Baton Rouge Zydeco of dad content.
Let's go.
So
To the moon.
With that being said, we are going to observe upon some other dad content that exists out there in the cloud and give our thoughts, feedbacks. We're doing this at random too, loyal viewers, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever you identify as. And so this is just at random, doing some little reaction type videos.
What's your boy in the room doing there? To the left of the guy falling down.
Right here?
Yeah.
We're going to start here. This says Dad of the Year goes to
my husband. Whoa. What the?
Oh, it says dads have amazing reflexes. Then there's my husband. And your boy, what?
Well, because he's like, oh, okay, he's running. Let me get out of the way. Oh, face plant.
Is it the foot or is it this orange
He trips
thing?
over the thing.
Okay.
Like,
you better be careful before he gets clipped by that fan. He's 6'5". Fans are an actual concern for him. He is really close to that
That
fan.
fan's scaring me. Is it low or Is it camera angle?
Well, I mean, it's obviously the camera angle.
I'm the only one who thought he was gonna hit his head on the. Yeah, we get it.
My little brother used to do this with Julia all the time because he's big and tall and lanky, and she would like be running back and forth, and he'd lift his leg and she'd run under him, and then he'd lift his leg and she'd run under him. And I remember one time I wanted to break his neck because she was still really little and did that, and her face got hung up on his shorts as they were hanging, and she tumbled, and I was like, oh,
she like scorpioned.
Well, I mean, like the thing about it is like, in that moment, sorry, DK, in that moment, you would have thought that like she was never coming back, but she's still here. And this is, at least this video, he's on carpet.
Ben like runs at me like that, and I just grab him and I'm like, sweep the leg, Johnny.
Yeah, well, and there are plenty of experts out there that say kids need that rough and tumble.
Yeah, man.
They need to get hurt a little bit. You know, I mean, and like, also, okay, let's do this one. Dad tried to make a quick save.
No, he just thought, hey, I'm going to be with my kid. Oh, I'm too fat and drunk. Oh, Grundle.
And the kid loves it. That's my favorite
the kid's
part.
Like, I'm so glad I just got bagged by my dad.
Shout out to whoever built this slide, because you may not be able to see it, you folks. We can. This slide is built out of what looks like 1x8s or 1x6s and PVC pipe. So I don't know.
Yeah, super comfortable.
Where you go to the park, but yeah, he missed the baby and saved his coffee. Super dad. Is that not how we feel sometimes? Because is there not this?
I swear, even if he didn't have a cover on his mug, he wouldn't have spilled a drop. Thank you, weekend adult activities.
Impressive. That was on America's Funniest Home Videos, dude. Shout out. Talk about nostalgia. Tell me if you find something.
What's the dude with the leg on the armchair there? What's going on there?
When his recliner is broken, he breaks it again.
What happens if you sit normal? Like a normal person? Oh, this is comfy. No problem here. Hell, this is all said to hell with it. So I got real comfortable. Like.
So we just got a new recliner for.
Lovely. And it only gets worse. Let's recline, shall we?
That's great.
I just thought I'd recline and make my... Yeah.
I know your pain, sir.
Hey, come on in. You want to stand here? Here? I'll get it.
He said, let's recline, shall we? Dude.
So we just got a new recliner like about maybe less than 6 months ago for that very reason.
Because yours broke?
Oh my God! Because Ben, like, so we have a chair, a couch that's a sectional, goes into an L, has a chaise lounge at the end, and so.
Wait, a what lounge?
A chaise lounge.
Is it not Chase? A Chase lounge?
Is that what you're saying? Chase?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what it is? Chase? Chase?
It's either Chase or Shay. They're two different people.
Well, it's Burgundy or it's Burgundy. Depends on where you live, right? If you live outside of New Orleans, it's Burgundy. If you live in New Orleans, it's Burgundy. I believe it's Shays Lounge. But it does. Look, okay, maybe it's Chase Lounge. It's Chase. I don't know who Chase is because it's supposed to be a Chase. It's supposed to be something you open up and can pull out.
Well, it was designed by a man whose last name was Chase.
Was it really?
Yeah, look it up.
Okay.
Anyway.
Is that real? Is that a thing? Are you telling me?
Don't look it up right now. Look it up. Look it up later.
So Chase and his lounge are on the edge of my sectional.
Yeah.
And we have the recliner right next to it, and it has become a thing. One with Charlie, the Labradoodle, who just goes and does his little zoomies back and forth. Well, now Ben wants to join in, and he goes and he's running. Flings himself over on the chair, does a flip over onto the chaise line, now runs all the way to the couch over to the end, then turns all the way back around. So within a year, my recliner was done skis. So, sir, hats off and salute to you. I know your pain.
Sad day. We bought when I had my neck surgery. They said,
I could have seen you, but
yeah, there's pictures out there, I'm sure. But like, I got it to sleep in, and every dad needs a chair. And then Jamie hijacked it when she broke her foot, and so like I'm just.
Can we get this as a short and get one of those videos, one of those pictures of
me in the chair?
Yeah, we need that.
I'm sure we can. I'll have to find it, but they exist. And now Julia uses like the little lever. I'm gonna end up like him soon because she uses the lever as like a because she is a booster.
Right.
She stands on it, and I'm like, dude. Let's see, what else we got. Dad failed the. Speaking of recliners, what's not a recliner?
Oh shit! Oh shit! No!
Dude, you're dramatic.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Get out of here. Let's see. What else we got? Tell me if you see something.
What is this? Let Me Be Like Dad.
Where's that one?
Right there. To
This
the right.
one?
Yeah. What's?
Oh, that's Logic, the rapper.
Oh, I didn't even.
Wait, why is it?
What in the heck did you just do?
That reminds me of the Grits.
Seriously.
Cocomelon in the background. This, I blame Cocomelon.
I leave you for 2 seconds.
Why?
And he's just. How did he get on the counter? And he's just watching him.
But why are most of the destructive videos all boys? Is this what I'm getting? Is this what I have to look forward to?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't see. That's the thing. I don't leave Ben alone that long. Is your boy? Is he ripping his nostrils? Is he trying to wax his nostrils?
Oh, let's do
If it's a fail thing, I want to see
He
it.
was in so much pain.
Oh, oh yeah.
Wait,
Here we go.
why does it keep? What the hell? Oh, there it goes. Oh, he looks like he's struggling.
One.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna yell much more. Give me your hand.
He's like crying.
He's getting in the stance.
the stand. Oh my god.
That's the stuff that like you do with little girls. I'm telling you, bro. Like, oh my god. Thank God Aubrey's never wanted to do like waxing.
No, the furthest Julia's gone is like painting my nails.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care about
But
I've let her shave my head before.
man, that's he didn't in the first one. He just he couldn't.
Up.
Up.
But up.
All right, we'll get one more.
Let's do one more.
One more.
Told my dad to react to this as if I wasn't. What?
Oh, I want to see the VR dad.
VR.
Oh yeah.
Thirst traps.
That's not the VR dad.
Where's the VR dad?
I don't know what.
There he is.
You gotta hold the right trigger down. Blue, 42.
This would be me.
You gotta hold it, keep it held down, and then
Dude, that's great. Let's watch that again.
Oh,
Let's watch that again.
Oh god.
you gotta hold the right trigger down. Blue, 42. Blue, 42.
Oh, it's an option. It's an option. No, he keeps it. It's an option.
Dude. That's.
Oh no.
Oh, this is a bunch of virtual reality.
Oh. Bro, we did that for Andrew's bachelor party. We did VR. We did the VR. Oh,
That would 100% be me.
no.
Oh, I've done the boxing one. Dude, people are great. They're putting pillows up trying to. That's funny, man.
Oh man.
Man, what a fun little trip. If anybody has any cool videos or anything that they want to send in, let's send them in. And let's talk about them and look at them. My whole thing with there wasn't a whole lot of kids involved in that one, in any of those really, like intentionally. My whole thing with that, dude, is like I get butthurt about these parents that like set their kid up, you know, and it's all staged and scripted, and they do something like. Did you see there was a trend of like parents throwing slices of cheese at their 3-month-olds?
Yeah.
Like
So no, the
Dude.
ones that I'm not a I don't know. I guess what Courtney would always say, like, geez, you know, Aubrey's watching YouTube and all she's watching is another kid playing a game on YouTube or whatever. Like, she's watching kids play video games rather than playing video games herself. She's like, we could do that with Aubrey. I said, we will absolutely not. We will not monetize our child.
no, dude.
Like, I just
sickening.
If my kid wants to get on Twitch on her own and be like, follow me on Minecraft or whatever,
Right.
like, you know, Warhammer, whatever, like, cool. That's it. Do it on your own volition. I am not going to monetize that child.
No, dude. There was some that Ken sent us the other day, like that were just so clearly like the way it appeared. We were going to piss our child off for funny laughs on the internet, and like, give me a break. What, like, that's the most selfish bullshit. You know, like, get your own talent, get your own thing. Don't exploit pissing your kid off on the internet so that you can feel popular and feel good about yourself. You know, like, get out of here, bro. Get out of here.
Talk about being a dad. The wifey.
Oh, what's she saying?
She's just like, how long you gonna be? I need to go put some in the mail at the post office. She's got a little side hustle. Check out Courtney's Closet. You can go to Poshmark. You can go to all these little sites. She's a reseller. She's a thrifter. But she's got stuff she had to do. And I was like, I kind of told you we'd be here for a
To
minute.
drop Ben off, bring young Benjamin studio side. Let him. They've heard our side of things for 12 and a half episodes. Let's let them hear his side. He says, "Yeah, Daddy pissed me off with the grits."
Bruh.
But I don't know, man. It's the internet's too easy, and I had some like reservations or like apprehension in the beginning of doing all of this with like exposing her, but like at the same time, like, we post family pictures, and I mean her picture's already on in the place, you know. So it is what it is. Like, this has nothing to do with our children. Are just a part of our
Yeah, I'm not like in
experiences.
I've never been a big like, oh, you know, I'm trying to hide my kids' image or likeness from social media. I'm just trying to allow them to establish it on their own.
Right?
We're going to have. We live in a digital world today. We still don't have our wedding pictures. We have them. It's on a thumb drive.
You don't have paper copies?
We didn't do it.
Yeah.
We did it on a thumb drive because she and I both agree, and this is a personal thing. Like, we did the whole like do the disposable cameras, and so we had all our friends just use disposable, take pictures of the wedding.
that's
You know,
cool.
give us pictures from your perspective of the wedding. But we didn't do a photo album. We didn't do any of that. We have a couple of still shots that we have in frames. Me and her in our first dance, us with the wedding party, like that kind of stuff. But we didn't care enough to do that. So we have pictures of the kids at the house, but it's just this idea of like, mostly everything you do is digital. And so we have pictures of Aubrey and Ben out there, but I do try to protect their autonomy and anonymity.
Yeah.
But there's this idea of monetizing my kid, like making money off of them. That's my thing.
That's gross to me. That's gross.
Did you watch like what is it, Teen Mom or whatever on MTV? and you think, okay, well, so this is like this pop culture phenomenon that maybe 20 years from now, which is crazy because, again, I forget what 20 years is. I keep thinking 20 years is the 80s.
Yeah.
But 20 years ago was 2004, and that's when, like, I think 2010s around Teen Mom and Jersey Shore was kicking off and all that. So they're still around and relevant, I guess, but, like, that stuff became this pop phenomenon, and I think you're this kid, and who are you 20 years from now? It's like, oh, well, my mom and dad were on Teen Mom on MTV.
Well, and back then I feel like it was a little bit more luck and effort to exploit your kid for money in that way. Remember Honey Boo Boo? Remember that little girl? And now
But now it's not about Honey Boo Boo, it's about Mama June.
Who's that?
Wasn't that like the mom or the aunt or something?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I just remember this little curly-headed kid who was
I remember Toddlers and Tiaras.
extremely
We talked
freaking
about
disrespectful.
That. I was like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, but was she disrespectful?
The little kid?
Was she really?
Yeah, she was pretty rude.
But really, was
But
she?
But also
Was
she was
or
being
was she
exploited for money.
Yeah, was she stuck in a situation and
she-
producers
yeah.
went, just
No,
say
no.
what the first thing comes to
Right,
your mind. All right, are you rolling? You getting this?
Yeah, nah,
like
for
that's
sure.
gross.
And now you can do it from home.
And so she's walking around. People are like, yeah, you were that douchey little kid when you were 5, and she's like, I'm 20 now, and
Right.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
look at what happened. Like Macaulay Culkin, child stars. You know, it's like did he want to be Kevin McAllister his entire life? No. Mm-hmm. But he got kind of typecasted, and what did it do? It kind of created a spiral. Now his brothers have done pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I just don't want to monetize I don't want to make money off of my kids.
No, I definitely don't. I don't know. I mean, unless, once Brady gets to the league, if he wants to throw me some of that money for all the hard work I put into him in the 18 years to come, that's different.
That's the best, like, Cosby bit that he does. You know, he talks about, the whole idea of, like, a child in their life. And he's like, from a dad's perspective, he's like, you've been waiting for this, like, moment of glory and beauty and just grace. You know, it's this amazing moment, the birth of a child, and you're in there, and your wife is in, she's in trauma. She's doing things with her body that shouldn't be happening, and it's hard on her, and you're petting her head, and you're like, sweetheart, I love you. You're so beautiful right now. And she grabs you by the throat and she goes, you did this to me. And then you're doing all that. And then all of a sudden, and then there's this child, and you're all excited to hold this baby boy or baby girl, whatever. And they look, it's a boy or girl, whatever. And you look and you go, it's a lizard, and it's particularly with boys, it's like, and so what do? You work and you break your back and you sweat every day and you do everything you can to provide for this child. And what do you do with your free time? You're out there catching the ball and you're throwing the ball and you're teaching how to get a good spiral and you're doing, all the, how to hold the bat. All right, now choke up a little bit, and you do all this and you spend all this time. You're at every game and you're buying all the tools and all the equipment and you go to all the practices. You even help coach. And he's like, you go and then on the weekends, what are you doing? You're at 5 different parks and you're at a different tournament and you do all that. And then your kid gets to, college and you're sitting there and you're so proud and he's there and he's in the uniform and man, you start flying all across the country and you're going to see all the games because you want to support him and he's got to make a big decision. No, he gets drafted and he goes and you're trying to get tickets to the game. You go to the game and you're at the game and all, and he's like, and then look, he wins the World Series, or wins the Super Bowl. He gets on TV, and you're sitting there, and you think, and he goes, and I want to thank the person that stuck by me and means the most, and really, who's responsible for all. And you're sitting there, and your chest is poked out, and you're so proud, and you're like, all the time I spent. And he goes, I love you, Mom. And it's like, yeah, I think so. I mean,
That's hilarious.
It's kind of,
Yeah.
They win no matter what, bro.
They do. Yeah, rightfully so. Well, actually, this is a good segue. Speaking of moms, this is a good segue. You mentioned Courtney's side hustle. This is something that I've thought about and wanted to talk about with you on here, and something that I think is probably relevant for a lot of people. And actually, a couple episodes ago, you had made a comment about $60,000 a year doesn't cut it anymore, and the difficulty of being a young person wanting to start a family and stuff. You know, and something that
And that's $60,000 single.
right.
So 120, 100
Yeah.
in a household is like,
Yeah, but so but what I've been thinking about, or what I've thought about talking about on here, is this this newer thing that's different from, I think, probably the way a lot of people grew up in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Is this two working parent household, both parents full-time job, kind of thing. Like,
it's all I knew.
is it?
My parents
See,
both worked as long as I can remember.
mine did kind of, you know, like I mean, I say kind of, and that's kind of maybe minimizing, because my mom she worked, you know, but they owned a business. My mom worked for him as like bookkeeper, secretary, administrator, you know, keep his head on straight, manage the office, all of that kind of stuff. And so, like, yes, she did work, but also like was working for the person she was raising kids and a family with. So, like, you know, from the way I saw it, at least, did have a little bit more leeway than if she was having to show up working for somebody else and have to put in PTO and you know, like, be there at a certain time and leave at a certain time, you know, and all that stuff. So I would imagine it probably makes it made it a little bit easier. But it's like now, like, you almost, unless you're this whole idea of like dad goes out, gets the bread and brings it home, and mom keeps the house clean and the kids to school and works out and stays fit and, you know, like, does the like, that's not really real, I don't think, anymore, you know? Like, I don't know, unless dad makes $300,000 a year, but when we've talked about that too, like, when you're doing that, where are you working? Are you present? Are you around? You know, like, and I just wanted to kind of hear like y'all's experience and share some of my experience and thoughts on like navigating that and with multiple children or you know, and both parents working, and like, I don't know, how is that, like, what's y'all's, I guess, maybe routine, or how does that kind of function and work in y'all's house?
Well, So I grew up with two working parents. I mean, yes, my dad incorporated and created a survey business that he had for years. He incorporated in 1986 in the midst of, like, right soon after there being a huge crash. And it's like my folks almost lost everything for the most part. But my mom worked for the state. I mean, she worked for the machine for 22 years, went back to school to do what she really loved, which was teach, and then she taught for like 12 years. You know, I've always grown up with a dad who was either working in the office and was able to kind of come home at a decent time, or was out of town most days, most weeks. And a mom who worked long and late hours and then had to come home and cook and try to do all those things, because that was, you know, my mom worked to help support the business my dad was trying to build. So both me and Courtney work because, well, we just do.
Right.
The reality is we could spend less.
Yeah.
We could reduce, you know, the house we live in, the cars we drive, whatever. And we don't drive German, you know, we don't drive Mercedes or Beamer or nothing Italian for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny because as you were talking, I started realizing the old adage of like, do you know what I sacrificed? You know? But it's true.
Yeah.
I will go broke, literally go broke, trying to make sure that when there's an event or a trip that we go. because I want my kids to have a life that is full of influence and travel and seeing the world and experience. It's one thing I can say before Ben, like with Aubrey. I mean, man, we went. Not to yank my own chain, but I spoke at a congressional hearing back in like 2017. Yeah, man, spoke in front of some. Spoke in front of some congressmen. You know, it was pretty crazy, but I did. I got asked to speak on, on the rent crisis that's going on in our country. I mean, people who are paying 2 times what a house payment is for half of the house.
Right.
You know, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath rent house or whatever. It's like, $1,400 in Louisiana, and like a 3-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that I live in is, $1,050 mortgage,
right.
And people are unable to buy houses. And so I went and spoke and brought Aubrey with us. We went to DC and we saw, she got to walk into like a little, she met our senator at the time, Bill Cassidy, and she, sat in his office and we talked with him, and, she went into this congressional building with us, and we went to the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument, did all those things. We've traveled all over the country. The next big venture is to try to get out of the country with them. I mean, me and Courtney have been to Greece, but I will go broke to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Courtney decided 2 years ago that she wanted to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I would do anything, whatever it takes, even a life of male prostitution and cocaine sales, if need be, for her to go back to school. And she's at LSU now, and she wants to get her master's in nutritional science. And I think a lot of that is, more than anything, hey, you have this master's degree, and do you up, 20, 25K in salary by doing that? Sure. Is it also saying that she finished and completed something? I think that's really a lot of it.
Sure.
So I'm all about that. Like, I think it's a beautiful goal, and it's really something great to impart upon your kids. Like, look at what I completed. Has she really dove like nose deep into going to thrift stores and reselling stuff? Yes. And part-time as a little side hustle, with no real motivation other than to make a little extra cabbage for the side, like to pay for daycare or whatever. Pretty average month is like $1,000, $1,500 extra bucks.
Yeah.
And at $210 a pop every week for daycare for Ben, it's like, it's helpful.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, if she was to like really invest all her time, because she does, she gets on and she watches all these listers and stuff, and she watches TikTok videos, she follows some people, and she's really gotten, how like when somebody gets into something, they start using terminology, right? Like, and
Like
she's
producer.
I can't wait. That's what he is. That's what I'm not trying to sound like a douche.
Affiliate.
Yeah. But that's what she's like, oh, well, and these shorts, they have a certain comp, and I'm like, what, a comp? But whatever.
That's cool though.
And as I always told my dad, if you want to know what I really want to do, I want to sit around and drink coffee and shoot the shit.
Yeah. And here we are.
If I could finish college and get a degree, it would be in philosophy. And outside of getting a PhD in that and then becoming a professor and publishing somewhere, really, I would just sit around and think really deep and be very broke. But if I could do this and she could thrift and just live that life, I mean, that would be super. It'd be great. That also, I think a lot of this is also choices we made, as far as where we live too. Because you have to think about, like, she's following these listers who they're reselling things for like $300 a pop. Well, why? Because they live in Houston, or they live in LA, or they live in Chicago where there's a Nordstrom's or whatever. Because you got to remember, the Goodwill here in Baton Rouge, what you're getting...
FUBU.
I mean, well, and like you find some polos, you find some DKNY type, right? You can't, but like definitely like Nordstrom's and Saks is being dumped at the Goodwill in Houston, right. And so like that is the thing. It's like, well, you could live outside of Baton Rouge, but You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
you-
My dream job was to be on Sports Center, but
Yeah.
I don't want to live in Bristol, Connecticut. So
Yeah.
here I am. That's a choice I've made, and I'm okay with that.
I wish there was a way. Well, and like, you know, I mean, I
But who knows? Maybe you're going to make our video go viral, and we'll be millionaires. I don't know.
that would be neat. Then I could shoot the shit with you and tattoo, and then coach Brady's baseball team.
Which would make me really happy. I would be like, seriously, like,
Yeah.
and let me say that, like, seriously, with every fiber of my being, if you were just tattooing and you were really happy, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah, it would be cool.
If
I've
Ken
gotten
was
to-
like, hey, dude, I don't really shoot for anybody anymore. I do my own thing, and I've got my own little, this is what
Yeah.
I do now.
yeah.
I would be like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Watching other people level up would be.
Well, and it's like I'm gonna go ahead and just flat out say that our like working situation for my family is about as great as it could possibly be in regards to being able to have a little bit of everything. And I say that because, you know, my two like primary my primary jobs, you know, I do work for somebody else, but I also have a tremendous amount of freedom of schedule with that. I own my own business with a business partner, and so, you know, there comes with that the, like, you know, writing up fence quotes at 9:00 at night or answering phone calls that during dinner so that we can have dinner next week. You know, like there's
When duty
that
calls.
when duty calls kind of thing. I understand like a semi unique or like, you know, good as gold type situation, you know, but I think about for her, and because I did at one point, like she was working, I don't know if I've talked about this on here before or not, but she was working in a doctor's office at one point that was 30, 40 minutes away. She had to get there to open the door. She had to stay late enough to close the door. She went getting home, you know, and I was working, getting off. I had to be into work at 6 and I was getting off at 2:30 or something like that were my hours. And so like I was bringing Julia, my mom was keeping her when she was little. I was bringing Julia there when I was getting off of work. I was picking Julia up. I had her at home. And it eventually got to the point where I was like, look, dude, like I need a wife. Like I need a wife. She needs, like, we don't need you working 10-hour days and being gone from 6A to 6P. Like that's not what I want for our family. And I don't want you to have to do that. And so situation got reevaluated. She got a different job and now we've ended up in this spot. And it's like, you know, there's a part of me that exists that like wants to be able to like her not have to work, you know, and this is all me and my perspective, but that's like, yeah, like take the kids to school, like do your thing, like go work out, like learn recipes, like do all this, you know, like American mom shit that like I don't think she really wants to do. Like she wants a thing. Like she wants to have a thing. She wants to contribute in some way or maybe not even that, but like from, you know, like
the old idea of what women should be doesn't maybe exist anymore.
that's exactly what I'm saying. That like, you know, and I feel like, you know, I've always told her she would be great. Like with Courtney's thrifting and that thing, like I've always told Jamie she would be great at interior design because she geeks out on that. Like we're designing the nursery for Brady now, and like the other night she downloaded an app on her phone that you could put the size of the room and you could situate the furniture and figure out the
AutoCAD
stuff
for
and
design.
Exactly, 100%. And like, you know, she's on Pinterest and like we'll go to Hobby Lobby and she'll pick 5 or 6 different things and set them on the cart and be like, I don't like this, but put that one back. And she does. Like she has a good eye for that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's like, you know, and what she does for a living is, or for, you know, for now, for her job, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, as she typically does when she watches these things, but it's not like she's like super passionate about it. It's like it's the same for me. Like it's the life that we get to live. It's the freedom that she has in her schedule to be like, you know, I go to the office for a couple hours and I come finish working from home after that. Or like, hey, this came up. I'm not going to be able to come into the office today. I'm just going to work from home today. And there's never any flack given to her. It's like, okay, because she's just one of those people that gets her shit done. So like her bosses and they don't have to worry about whether or not Jamie's getting her work done. She gets it done. Whether she's at the office, at the house, on Pluto, it doesn't matter. She's going to get it done because she's just got that work ethic. But like, I also know that, you know, there's things that I wish that she would dive into because I want her, you know, just like the experience that I get to have of like tattooing my friends and like that's something, you know, I really enjoy doing, and it's not what feeds the family, but it's just cool and I like doing it, and it's something that like I don't know any of you other people out there that I'm friends with that tattoo, you know, and it's something different that I get to do. And I kind of want her to have something like that. And like, you know, I've got to take a step back a lot of times and think about like, okay, this old school housewife, house mom thing, like it might not really work. You know, it might not really work, one, financially speaking, and two, because like, yeah, her primary purpose and where she finds her most joy and passion is being a mom, but also she has others, like she'd go batshit crazy if she had to stay home with the kids all day, and that was all she ever had to do, you know, like just stay hot and cook me dinner. You know,
and so like, I don't want to paint the idea of like a homemaker or that ideal being wrong.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
because
not.
Some women made like that may be
that's what they want.
That's their thing,
right?
And I if that's your jam, go for it. Courtney, I feel selfish. I really do. I feel very selfish a lot of times. My way of, you know, having a soft pillow at night and sleeping is that I have to accept that like Courtney made this decision to marry me and to like build a life with me. So she wasn't confused, you know.
Yeah.
But like, dude, Courtney's been at the same place for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
She's same, you know, like they can count on her. She's been there long enough for new ownership. She's implemented new ideas, new formats. They're basically arranging the schedule so she can go to LSU on campus, you know, full time, take a full load. Like,
yeah,
you know, they've made arrangements so that she can do that and still be off every weekend.
Right.
You know, and I worked for that company with my father for a number of years, left on my own accord, for a set of circumstances. It was best for the company. It was best for me and my dad's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about nepotism, and this is all I'll say. Well, this is all I'll say without slandering, because I walked out basically trying to meet with every person there and make sure that we were okay. But one person said, their child had just been born. And at the time, this is 2018 when I left, and Aubrey was 8, you know, turning 9. And there was an idea of, you know, the word nepotism got thrown at me, and I said, I hate that you feel that I get treated differently
mm-hmm.
than you because of my father. But you're absolutely correct. I am treated differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm treated a lot harder. Because when you leave, you clock out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I leave, I get phone calls.
Yep.
And I still have to have family dinner, and I still have to go to like holiday meals and hear about work. Like,
yep.
Secondly, you say I leave earlier than everybody. You're absolutely correct. None of y'all have kids. His kid had just been born. I'm an infant, right? I said, I have to be at the bus stop.
Right.
I also get here an hour and a half to 2 hours earlier than everybody because I have to put my kid on the bus.
Right.
So when you're getting here at about 8, I'm usually here by about 7.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that to say, like, I made a real personal choice that I was going to end up being what destroyed that company, or I was going to be the thing that was removed so that company could be okay. Because there were also things between me and my dad where, like, I was like Google AdWords banner. Like, there's just, look, trying to figure out how to put your company in the yellow pages. Anyway, at the time, like, it's the 21st century. We've got to make some changes. But, I left and did a number of things, and I was willing to take a lot less paying jobs. I was willing to do a lot of things, but so that I could be free. I could be free with my kids. And I had a job for a very prominent wholesale company in the Southeast, and really good company. I enjoyed a lot of my coworkers, but this was around 2020. And there was a lot going on in the country, and during the shutdown, and my mom had just passed, and there were when you lower the volume of your voice, it doesn't reduce the amount of bigotry.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting around people who say, well, and they were black.
Mm-hmm. It's my favorite.
And I don't know if you've met me, but I'm a little vocal.
Yeah.
And I said, I hope you know that just because you lowered your voice, it doesn't change the amount of racism.
Right.
I'm not, and I had reached my zenith.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I was, it's like the person with the Katrina card. Like you kind of want to go like, all right, dude, it's been a while,
It's
right?
over.
Right. But I was like, I just buried my mom 2 weeks ago. We're in a global shutdown. We're considered essential because of the services and products that we ship.
Mm-hmm.
We're all unhinged and unsure what's going on. We just had an election, or an election is coming up, and it's there was a lot going on, and there came a point where me and that GM kind of got nose to nose, and he was like, "Do you have a problem?" And I said, "Yeah, we can figure it out here." Airline, highway, wherever you want, but if you want a shot at the title, we can, I was there, I was ready. Jesus. And he was like, I think you should leave. And I told him, I said, I think it'd be good for you if I leave. I think it'd be really good for you and your family if I leave.
Yeah.
Because I was at that place. I was ready.
Yeah.
And I've systematically left, been laid off, whatever. And I don't blame anybody.
Yeah.
I know my mouth. I know my attitude. I know that in some ways I'm a little unhinged and unhealthy in some of those places, and I have tried to work on it. But every decision of every place I've ever worked, it may not seem like it, has been solely so that I could produce enough money to support my family, but be available. Because that's what I care about. That's all I care about. Like I no longer care about what I do. Yeah. I just want to be able to know that if Ben has a thing or if Aubrey has a thing, I can go. I can be there. I can show up. Doctor's appointments, everything.
Yeah, that's same. Like that, when I left from doing what I was doing, working, I was working a job making baseball bats, and I got to see the baseball bats that I made on TV and in the home run derby and the All-Star game, and like. And this was in 2018, 1920, because prior to that, I was also working for my stepdad. And, I worked for him for on and off throughout the roughest period of my life and put him through a lot of difficult situations as a son and as an employee and somebody who represented the business that he worked so hard to build for 30, 40 plus years. And so, like, I guess in my mind, because my experience with college and baseball and then no baseball and then school and then not school and then drugs and alcohol and all this stuff. And I think I just like the easy thing to do was to think that like I was just going to learn enough about his business to take it over one day, and that just never happened. And
it's also a bad assumption.
Yeah.
I learned that.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, when I no longer worked for him, our relationship got better because same, like it was hard to go over there and not talk about the projects that were going on. It was hard, and so like it was a lot of walking on eggshells kind of thing. At least that's how I felt, like I felt like I just felt like he was my boss, even when we were in a family environment, and so, but when I left where I was working making bats, it was a job, but it wasn't a career. It wasn't that thing that I could provide for the family and be there. And we had just had Julia and stuff. And so when I left and made the shift to doing what I do now, it wasn't so much about like, I'm so passionate about, finding defects with people's houses before they buy them, like I do. It's nice to be that person that can, help give you an unbiased opinion of what you're getting into before you make the largest financial purchase you'll ever make in your entire life in buying a home, whether it's your first home or your fifth home or whatever. Like, yeah, it's cool. But like, I could walk away if there was something else, like it's not like, it's the amount of time I get to spend. It's the, hey, don't schedule me anything on Friday after 9 a.m. because Julia has her spring program at school. Okay, cool. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no hostility for, like it. And I absolutely love who I work with and for that. And so, but like, I also think just in, I know people and have friends who like the woman is the breadwinner, quote unquote, and like, I just feel like the in my opinion and in my experience that Jamie and I are trying to live, like we want to be there. Like I want to be there. I don't want to be, and again, if that's your jam and that's the way your life is set up, by no means am I throwing shade or am I hating, but like I don't want to miss the spring program because I'm stuck in a plant. Like I don't want to miss Brady's first T-ball game or his first, junior golf tournament or his first Taekwondo getting his yellow belt or whatever. I don't want to miss any of that because I'm in Houston trying to close a deal. Like I'll take the hit. I mean, look, no, I don't have a college degree, but I'm wicked smart, okay? And I could probably go out and make a shit ton more money than what I make. But at what cost? Like what is the opportunity cost of that? Does that mean, like Thursday when I went to the concert, I left at 4 and I didn't get home till 1 o'clock in the morning. And like before I left, Jamie was like, "What time will you be home?" And I told her it's gonna be late. It's gonna be after midnight. Y'all gonna be asleep. And she was like, "Well, I'll be trying to sleep, but like I don't sleep until I know you're here in this house and in this bed."
The same way.
So like, okay, if I know that the person I love and I'm sharing my life with and building a family and a future with, that is important to her, what the hell kind of piece of shit am I to go take a job that I'm out of town 4 days a week? And I'm not saying the people that do that are pieces of shit. I'm just saying that for me and my family and the person I love the most, if that's not something she wants, that's not something I'm going to do. And so I feel like for us, what we're trying to create and what we're trying to cultivate in our house is just making sure, like you've said dozens of times, like making sure that Julia and then Brady know how much we love them, how much we want to be there for them, whether that means I make all the money and Jamie makes none, we make equal amounts, she makes more than me. None of that shit matters. It's all based on being present and being able to show how much we love them. Because I can tell you right now, this is my experience as a kid. As I got older, I didn't give a shit about what was bought for me or where I was taken. I cared about who was there and who wasn't. That was my experience.
Well, I constantly say, my dad, because of his job, wasn't at my games.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was,
Mm-hmm.
he was not. I don't remember my dad at most of those things.
Right.
For that, I ended up with a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
Now, again, my dad was busy putting a roof over my head,
Mm-hmm.
and he was busting his hump. But it's like I go back to he always wanted to be a writer, in which he was, but he never put his full emphasis on it. And I'm like, he's like, well, we had to, I had to provide, and it's okay. So we would have been broke. Well, we were kind of already broke,
Yeah.
but we would have been broke, and you'd have been happy,
Right.
which would have made the household happy,
Right.
Which
Right.
It's all relative. But it's funny, you talk about that, and maybe this disparity of pay or equitable income rights and things like that, and the idea of what the woman should make versus what the man should make, the partner, however that looks. And, the buzz right now, Caitlin Clark went number 1, but everybody's been making a big thing about she's going to make like maybe like $70,000 a year over a period of years, and it's only 300. Victor Wembanyama is going to make
50 million.
Yeah, you know, and everybody's like, what's and the argument there that I think a lot of people, because we get locked in the numbers.
Right.
How is she number one and he's number one, and the pay disparity is completely different? It's like the argument about pay equity. Yes, viewership is not the same. So therefore, the NBA will make more than the WNBA,
Right.
which actually the NBA owns the WNBA.
Right.
But whatever. The argument has always been player share revenue. It's just like an artist. An artist has a show. What do they get paid? Do they get paid on CDs? They get paid a fraction of that. The big money comes from concerts.
Right.
What do you make at the gate?
Right.
And what is that percentage?
Yeah.
And everybody negotiates at a different rate. The idea is when a franchise has a game, there's certain, allocated money that every ticket is sold, what the franchise makes from that. What merchandise, everything. And the idea is that men's athletes, men's sports, the revenue share for players is much higher
Right.
than women.
But-
Caitlin Clark will never make LeBron money.
Right.
Now, sponsorship wise, she'll make ton. Yeah, that's
She had a.
But the idea is that what she would get in player revenue share with the Indiana Fever versus what Victor gets as a number one overall pick from the Spurs
Right.
is completely preposterous.
Right.
And that, it's a funny segue, and it's just a little kind of side piece or conversation, because I think that's with Courtney. I've always said, I want you to make the money that you want to make.
Right.
I think somewhere in there figured out that I don't care. I like things. I want things, right? Like I'm a human. I have selfish wants and desires or whatever, but I don't have like a certain tax bracket I'm looking to achieve. I'm trying to make equity out of time.
Right.
I'm trying to make time this equitable thing, that how much time can I get?
Right.
And the things that I do with that time, are we going to Arkansas and going hiking?
Right.
Are we going to DC? Are we going out of the country? I want to, that's the stuff, I want to go to Chichen Itza in Yucatan and have my kids stand on Mayan pyramids. I want to go to Rome and show them the Colosseum. I want to see these wonders of the world, and I want my kids to see it with me. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I think that we live in a day and age today now, though, that when I was growing up specifically, I know you as well, but definitely with this like decade difference, like when I was growing up, you saw something on TV and you went, man, that would be cool to do.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, I mean, it just
Right.
never crossed my mind that I could. And, your parents, my parents too, would say, well, we would hop in the car and go. I understood that as a teenager, because in my teens and especially my early 20s is when the .com, when like chat rooms, when the internet really kicked off. So I knew the possibilities were there, but the idea of I could go on a site, I could say I want to go somewhere, so I could go and surf what's the cheapest flight.
Mm-hmm.
I could go contact a person on any particular site and say, hey, I see you have a home
Right.
that you sublet out
Right.
that I could stay at. I see also that around there, because I can Google, there's all these restaurants and places to eat, so I could be taken care of.
Yeah.
Like the idea that you can do that now, like I know I could take my kids anywhere. I just have to make enough money that will make sure the bills will be paid while we're gone,
Right.
and then put it into motion that we go do that. So all of my energy and efforts into working, and I know Courtney the same, is to go do that. We literally said, like, she said, man, Dave's playing at the amphitheater June 1st. I mean, I don't know that I want to leave Ben for the whole weekend, but we could shoot to Dallas. We could get there, go to the show, stay the night, and drive back Sunday. It's a Saturday show, and it's the idea that we can go do that.
Right.
That's what I work for.
That's it. There's because like
tons of ideas about I want to add on to the back of the house, and I want to do all these things because we want to sell it. And when my dad goes, we want to rebuild and renovate the house I grew up in the neighborhood we grew up in, all that stuff. But being able to go to the amphitheater in Dallas is really what we, like.
Yeah, that's it's. I mean, and then I do. I also like things. I like guns. I like watches. I like shoes. And I don't like $120 Nike running shoes. I like $300 Dunks, and like I get that. I know that about myself, and the people that love me know that about me too. But there's something that happened to me in having kids that, like, when it was just me, or even early on, it's like, yeah, I'm working because I want to buy myself nice shit. And it's like, no, now I'm working because I want to provide not the lifestyle that society tells me I need to provide, not the lifestyle that my friends are providing or that I was provided. Like, I don't want my kids to go to the school that I want them to go to, or I'm going to say that we want them to go to because that's where I went. It's because I want them to get every opportunity to succeed starting at 5 years old that I possibly can. And I want them to be in a loving environment when it comes to where they're going to spend 40 hours a week for 8 or 13 years or whatever, and I want to go on trips and vacations, not because that's what I did or that's what my friends are doing, but it's because I know Jamie didn't get to do a lot of that. Jamie didn't really get to do any of that, and I want that experience for her. Like, I was fortunate, man. I had a very blessed and privileged upbringing and got to go to Park City, Utah, and go skiing, and go to Pasadena and go to the Rose Bowl and go to Disney World.
You've been to the that's
yeah.
I know you went to.
I went to the Super Bowl. Like, I went to the Rose Bowl. It was the year that LSU was supposed to go, and then USC lost to UCLA the last game of the year, and so they ended up not going. LSU didn't go, and so we went to the Rose Bowl to watch Michigan and USC, I believe. Michigan and USC in the Rose Bowl.
Michigan and USC went to the Rose Bowl, and LSU played in the national championship.
Correct.
In the Sugar Bowl.
Correct, because the way it was supposed to have worked out at that BCS.
I think you. I'm sorry. I was
no.
Get into
stats
and history. Yeah.
But like, I got to do a lot of that, and like, got to go to DC a handful of times, and I've gone to a ton of Major League Baseball. Like, I was very, very fortunate, and I want to do that not because it's what you're supposed to do, but because, like, that's cool stuff to get to talk about at 32 years old, and I want Julia to get to experience. I want her to go to Disney World. I want to take Jamie to restaurants in DC that I've gotten to go to. Like, I want to go out of the country to the different places I've gotten to go to. Like, I want that for my family. And like, I gotta, like, let's be real. Like, you got to make a certain amount of money to be able to do that. But it's not because I want to go buy myself nice stuff and just say tough. Like, it is 100% at the end of the day, all for them. And whatever I've, there are times, like, and that's what, it's not all gravy and butter. There's freaking plenty of days and weeks that are just an absolute grind, that, like, when Jamie and I have our little, let's catch up, our little Sunday evening chats, like, I used to get really upset and beat myself up and feel guilty when I would have weeks like that. And now I'm at the point where it's just like, hey, this is going to be one of those weeks, like, this is going to be one of those weeks where I'm really busy. I'm gone early. I'm home late, not to even mention the extracurriculars that we do every evening during the week too. But like, like, this is just going to be one of those weeks, and we're going to get through it. And then we're going to have one of these weeks where we're both home at 1 and we're chilling at 4:30 in the afternoon, talking about what's for dinner, building pillow castles in the living room, because that's what Julia wants to do, and like, that's just is what it is. But I'm grateful that it's not every single week is one of those. It's going to be one of those weeks, because there are plenty of people that is their life, and whether that's what they want or don't want, it's not for me to decide, but that does exist. And like,
that's been one of the big things where I was looking forward to, because Courtney's on finals week.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so, like, the idea that when we come home, it's like we come home and, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty much with the kids. Really, Aubrey's in her room being Aubrey,
Right.
a teenage girl, but
Yeah.
like I'm trying to figure out dinner, and I'm kind of handling Ben or whatever, and I'm getting him bathed and all that. She's hitting the books.
Yep.
She's hitting the books every day, every night, and so we might get a show to watch, whatever, but I'm like, oh man, finals. Okay, boom, that's done. And now we'll get back to at least
Yeah.
having where she's present.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the weekends, like,
Mhm.
like right now,
Right.
I mean, it's tough, but it is a grind. All I know is that tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna be like 76, and
Yeah. I mean, at this rate,
God,
the way you're aging, it's
Right.
accurate.
I'm aging. Look, you're getting older. I'm getting better, bro. But like, I'm going to be 76, and God willing, Courtney will be right alongside with me with no major hiccups and in good health and good spirits. But I want to be playing with Danny and Laura, and playing maybe with their kids. Who knows? Like, and I want to be sitting here with all my family at a crawfish bowl at this time of the year, 30 years from now, and go, and me and Courtney be able to look at each other and go, we did good.
Yeah.
We did good.
Absolutely.
Like, because of talking to Robin, like, we've made some plans and decisions that won't leave our kids in utter hell because
Right.
of things we left undone. But as far as a life well lived, yeah, we did good. Like, that's what I care about. And that our kids are very close, that they want to hang out with us
Yeah.
and talk to us.
You know what? I think we're about to have to close, but you know what my hope for Ben is? My hope for Ben or Aubrey is that their sense of humor is strong enough that they listen back to this and name their children Danny and Laura. That's my hope. That's what I want.
Well, whatever your names are, if I ever don't meet you, know that your parents are the raddest people I've ever met. And I hope you know that you come from good stock.
Yeah. Thoroughbred, some might say.
I
Anyway.
love y'all.
Well, I think that concludes another episode of the Dudes Podcast. Anyway, like and subscribe, hit the bell, watch everywhere you can watch. Share if you don't mind, if you like what you're hearing. Comment. Yeah. Comment. I'm tired of scrolling through this stuff and not seeing comments.
Oh, there's some.
There are some.
And I love them.
There
I
are
think
some.
whatever you disagree with or don't like,
Yeah,
go ahead.
that's fine.
Please.
Somebody
I love it.
disagree.
We'll kill you with kindness.
That's the way to go. But check out Dad Gang. Use the promo code Doodads 14721.
There you go, buddy.
Doodads 14721, and
Get you 10% off.
get your 10% off and show your love and support. Cool things in the works over here behind the scenes at Ray Media Group, yeah. Everybody have a good week. Don't work too hard. Love your wives and your daughters and your sons and your husbands and your families. And I love you.
Love you too, brother.